Well, hello, internet friends near and far. Welcome to another episode of Parks and Conversation. This is a podcast where we talk about an episode of Parks and Recreation, and then we talk about it. My name is Jason. I'm joined all the way across town by the power of the internet by my friend Jeremy. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Jason. How's it going, man?
It is going so well. It is a beautiful fall day as we're recording this, and we are coming to land the plane on this Parks and Recreation journey. And so there's a little bit of wistfulness and
You're
nostalgia.
feeling wisty?
Yes, I'm playing a lot of Folklore and Evermore right now from Taylor Swift, just trying to get into that mode of being like, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm not really sad. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to not end this, but to start something new, but also like we've been doing this for such a long time. So, it is the penultimate. So you start thinking about the end. I just had to say penultimate again because it is. It's time. It's the ultimate pen. So, I'm good. I'm ready to talk about this one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, this episode is season 7, episode 11, Two Funerals. And so general impressions before we jump into talking about this episode. How do you feel about this episode?
Fan service.
Explain.
Yeah. What's that?
Unpack that.
It's good. I think like it just got me thinking about a lot of our favorite episodes and how some of them are, kind of sentimental. Some of them are just been written so well, just a complete story, standalone. And this is not one of those. This is a culmination of 7 years plus of all of these episodes. So if you were just to walk in and go, why is this guy like, what's the big deal about, this guy losing his barber? We get it in the episode, but if you don't know Ron, then it's not as funny or it's not as, impactful. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the jokes, a lot of these things are wrapping up, obviously because of the end of this. And I think this the last episode, this episode, and then the finale is what makes this Parks and Rec such a great series, because it really like you said, lands the plane. We're coming in and we get to see all of these extra characters and call back to all these different storylines and even jokes. And so I like it for that. As far as like standalone writing, man, it's fine. But really what they did was they created a vehicle, looking for a new mayor so they could bring in all of these candidates and we can go, oh yeah, Joan, and oh yeah, Dr. Saperstein and all these other characters. So that's kind of my view on this episode. What about you? What did you think?
I enjoyed this episode more than the previous episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
There is a element. One of the things I appreciate about this show, like when The Office was getting up there in episodes and they were making that transition into being owned by Sabre, they did a sneaky little clip show, which is something that like long running sitcoms tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because they had that banker come in and like evaluate the company and all that different stuff, right?
Right.
And so this has that same kind of vibe where it's like with the Ben and April looking for a new mayor. That's where like clip show comes into play. But it's not a clip show as much as it's, no, these are people who live in this city.
Right.
And so why not bring them around one more time?
Right.
And where the finale is also fairly brilliant because it literally is a clip show of things that have not happened.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it like subverts the expectations of like a clip show, like finale type thing. It's like, no, it's all looking to the future. And so these two episodes, I think, are fairly, they're creative in how do we wrap up all the loose threads.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then throw some more threads out there for the future.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, and they've been kind of doing it for a little bit ever since they jumped time, and then they were able to make future jokes. And now that we're so far past that time period, looking back, it's like the idea of Shia LaBeouf being a jeweler, is kind of funny. Like didn't he make dresses at one point in the series? Like, so it's just this running joke of Shia LaBeouf is like all of these different things, and because back then Shia LaBeouf was like a hot mess. And I mean, we haven't really heard heard from him for a while, but who knows where he's going to pop? I
Well,
don't know. It's things like
he
that that I
never
think
calls me. So
I'll let you know next time we hang
yeah.
out.
I love that expression. We haven't heard from this celebrity. It's like, who are you expecting a text?
Operators are standing by.
Yeah, anytime, Shia. Like, I'm hearing for you, man. We need to talk about
Let's do
things
it.
like, how did that Empire of the Crystal Skull movie impact your career? Is that where it kind of went off the rails for you? You were great in Fury.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, yeah. So this is an interesting one, and it'll be fun to talk about. So there's basically three stories,
Mhm.
right? Like that. Like the last few episodes, there haven't been a lot of divergence, and so this gets back into that mode of A plot, B plot, C plot. And so we've got Ben and April looking for a new mayor. We have Leslie and Tom, which we don't get them teamed up very often,
Mm-mm.
which is kind of nice. Uh, have them working on Tom's future, and then Ron and Donna and Andy helping Ron process his grief, which is not great. So
From what?
for Ron, like he's not good at grief, and
No.
their efforts are not. It's like, hey, you lost a barber, let's replace him. That's not necessarily like actually helping with grief, but
No, they just
okay.
treated him like a little kid. Like, oh, your dog died. Here's a puppy.
Yeah,
Here
every
you go.
barber is just like a hamster. Just trade them out.
Oh, Salvatore. Salvatore. I don't
Yeah,
know. He
so
gave me what they called the mayor.
yeah, that's one of the things that I do appreciate because we actually don't have that much interaction with Ron and his barber throughout the whole show,
Mm-mm.
but we are reminded that his barber is Salvatore.
And he existed. Like, he is in this world.
Yes,
This
and
isn't just a
so
new thing. That's great.
yeah, he's not some random guy that they just made up. Salvatore is the barber that Leslie went to when she was trying to like become a political power player, and she got the mayor haircut, and people thought that her and Anne were a couple. Like that
so,
happened in this
so,
world.
it's so great.
And that's also the
So
same
great.
guy Ron went to.
Right.
So it's great. So it starts off uh, with everybody all together in the office, and Ben's running in saying Leslie's going to walk in and say something that sounds super boring, but it's actually a really big deal. So just like want to give you a signal, like be excited, right? And so she comes in and talks about enrolling in that executive training program for the Department of the Interior, and everybody's excited. And Andy, like they're yelling out, "Congratulations, this is great!" And Andy just yells out, "Surprise!" And Ben looks at him like that was wrong. That was the wrong thing. This is not what's happening. Um. So Leslie's promoting or celebrating like this is for real. This whole move is happening, and then Donna also takes a moment to talk about how her and Joe closed on a house in Seattle. So welcome to the neighborhood, Donna. You are always welcome here.
Mhm.
And April is pretty excited about that. Everybody's so happy. And then Jerry gets up to announce that he's finally going to retire. And April says, "This is about people who are moving, Garry." So
And in true Garry form, not everything is about you. And he's like, yeah, good point.
yeah, I love Garry.
Yeah.
And so Leslie is kind of sad and wistful. Everybody's moving away. And she's like, "Well, bad news comes in three. So, we're leaving. April and Andy are leaving. Donna's leaving. That's three. And Jerry, also, I'm retiring. That's three, Jerry." And so as they're kind of wrapping up this, Pert Hapley comes on to say, "I come to you tonight with some good news.
Yeah.
Is not a sentence I will be saying to you right now."
Oh.
Because beloved Mayor Walter Gunderson has died. And immediately they blame Jerry for jinxing them on Gunderson's death. Um, and so Gunderson is a mayor that we have heard about for many years.
Mhm.
They've talked about him. We've never seen him.
No, his
And
dog.
his dog was attacked by a possum on a golf course.
Mhm.
And why the dog is coming to the golf course. He's the mayor. He can do what he wants.
Right.
But we find out that the mayor is none other than Bill Murray, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a great little bit of stunt casting as the season is as the series is wrapping up. But it's one of those things where like Bill Murray, everything he comes to just gets a little bit better.
Yeah, and not to dissect the frog, but this is one of my favorite jokes in this episode slash season, or just even in the series, really, because now you just like when you go back to rewatch Parks and Rec in your head, Bill Murray is somewhere around that building or around the town, like all the time through everything that we've been through. Bill Murray is somewhere around there,
Yeah. And,
but we
that
never
night
see
that
him. Like
they
all of the jokes, all of the great things that could have happened, we never got to see. And then it's like, oh yeah, it was Bill Murray the whole time. So great. It's so great.
yeah, I love it. And the night when they went to go and get Ethel Beavers to sign a wedding certificate
Oh yeah,
for, and they go and she has a paramour there with her. That's not Bill Murray.
that's true.
So
Oh, Ethel.
Ethel Beavers is busy. So,
Just a
um,
busy little beaver.
yeah. Anyway, so uh, Walter Gunderson, Mayor Gunderson, made a video for his eventual death. And greets everybody and he says, a lot's been done, but I wasn't really doing very much. I wasn't really paying attention. So if there's credit, I'll take it. But if there's anyone to blame, it's your fault. Thank you. Goodbye forever. And he's laying in state in the city council chambers for uh for a day, and Ben's just like, this is a totally real cool thing for a public space. Everything about this is very weird, and so the video ends and Ben's like, oh, okay. Well, that was something. And then we have a talking head of Leslie saying like people are dying, moving, retiring. There's too many endings and not enough beginnings, and so she's kind of figuring out like, what am I going to do? So she wants to start an underground dance competition and
Naturally.
realizes she doesn't know how to do that, but someone will. So then we cut to Ben, and he at this reception, funeral, wake situation in the city council chambers. Um, and so Ben goes to April and says, "Hey, can you help me find a mayor to appoint until the special election?"
No.
And he's like,
It's like,
"No, I can't."
no.
And she's just like, "Why don't you just appoint yourself? You basically run the town anyway." And so Ben's very hesitant to do that. And April reminds him that it's because he disgraced himself and destroyed an entire town. And Ben's like, yeah, I said we all remember. And so, yeah, so she agrees to help. And then Ben's like, I told Garry he could help too. And April is very upset.
Mm-hmm.
And and he's like, oh, notarizing a new mayor? That is, whew, well, it's like the ultimate notary adventure. Oh, it's big. And then Tom shows up, and he is coming back from New York, and he got her a gift, which is men's shoes in his size. And so Leslie's like, wow, that's really thoughtful. He's like, I'll hold on to these then. And so, yeah, he went out there with Lucy, and they had a great time. And he's like, it's for real. We even went to a jewelry store and looked at rings. And Leslie is like, whoa. And this is where we get the Shia LaBeouf is a jewelry designer joke.
Mm-hmm.
He's really found his calling. And
Finally.
so, yeah, so Leslie's excited because now this is a happy beginning when everything else is ending.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, you should propose to her right now, right here. What better place to ask a woman to marry you than an old man's public memorial?
And I love how she's like realizing that as she's saying it.
Yeah.
Like,
And Tom's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna wait. And like Leslie's not even in town, which is gonna be important if you're gonna propose to somebody. And so he's like, she gets back tomorrow, and then Leslie's like, I want to help you. I want to do this with you. And so yeah, so this is their plan moving forward. And then we cut to Ron and Donna and Andy, and they're talking, and Andy's like, this Gunderson was the mayor my entire life. It really makes you consider the postulescence of time. And Donna is just like, sure, postulescence. And I meant to do this beforehand, but I didn't know if that was actually a word.
I'm looking it up right now because
Me too.
I meant to do that, and Google says, "Oh, it's the quality or state of being postulant."
The period during which a person remains a postulant.
Did a third grader write this definition? You can't reuse the word.
I have a joke that I am trying to make work when I do
Okay.
open mics.
Awesome. I'm ready.
If I could change my career, I would like to go back and become a spelling bee moderator so that I could say, your word is perspicuity. And then they would say, could you use it in a sentence? And I would say, yes, please spell perspicuity.
Can I get the
I'm
origin?
trying to find what postulants.
I
There it is,
just said it.
postulant. I just gave you a sentence. Every time I ask you to do something is a sentence. A person admitted to a religious order as a probationary candidate for membership. That's a
Oh, so
postulant.
totally nailed
Yeah.
it, Andy.
All right. I'm glad we went down this road.
Okay. Anyway.
And so Ron is like, death is natural, Andrew. We're born, we survive as long as we're useful, and then we're killed either by our body's natural decay or those younger and stronger. And Donna's talking about how she's going to freeze her head like Ted Williams, throw that body on a robot, and keep balling. And then a guy comes up, Carl, and he's like, and we find out he owns the deli right next to Salvatore's shop. And Carl's like, isn't it terrible? First Salvatore and now Mayor Gunderson. And Ron, like, is shocked by this. Is what happened? Explain yourself. And find out Salvatore passed away. And Ron like faints. And Andy's response is, was he killed by a younger, stronger barber? So pretty great reaction. Like, he's just been told how the circle of life happens.
That's right.
And so he's like, I got to watch out for these barbers. It's cutthroat, sometimes literally.
Ayo.
Sweeney Todd. But that's a different show. So now we're at a crossroads, Jeremy. We have set up our 3 plot lines.
All right. Let's Bone Thugs this out.
Which way do we want to go? Because at the end of the sheet, like everybody comes together.
Yeah.
So
this is like that shot in any movie where they come to the crossroads out in the middle of the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, they're going to go that way. Why does it matter?
It's exactly like that.
I say, let's just go with the next section because I know you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've been looking forward to the most. So this is the service continues. I don't know why everybody stopped and then started again and like talking but whatever. As somebody who does a good amount of funerals in their life, like this is never how this ever works.
You don't have intermissions?
Not usually.
Can we get a refill on snacks?
I have a service coming up. Maybe I'll try to throw in an intermission.
Wow.
Mainly because I should not say what I was supposed to say. We all need to stretch our legs, everybody. Well, not everybody.
For those of you able.
The living need to get up and move around a little bit.
For those of you who can hear my voice.
That's a guaranteed way to be haunted. So Ben continues with the video, and Mayor Gunderson's a longtime friend and coworker, Ethel Beavers, comes and Leslie's like, this is going to be so sad. They worked together for a long time. And she's like, I'll be brief. Walter Gunderson and his wife had an open marriage. It kept him happy. It kept his wife happy. Hi, Evelyn. And Evelyn is like so like pleasant. Like, hi.
Yes. Yeah.
And it definitely kept me happy. And Leslie's like, what is happening? Because for 46 wonderful years, he spent night after night exploring every nook and cranny of my body. And everybody's like, oh. And Ethel's just, grow up, you prudes. We're all adults. And she's like, my only regret is I never told him how I felt. I'll say it now. I love that man. And not just because he was a dynamite lay. Good night, you animal.
And they cut to Gunderson laying in state, which is that little bit of grin on his face.
That
like he died.
Bill Murray smirk.
He died a happy man.
Good night, you animal. Oh, that's so gross. And then Leslie turned to Tom as like, listen to Ethel. No, it's gross. He's like, no, you can't wait to tell someone how you feel, because if you wait before and you know it, boom, 46 years later, they're gone.
Yep.
And Tom's like, you're right. We know. Why? Like, wait. Like, and that's like, exactly. So, and I will help you with this proposal. And so he starts laying out his plan of this multimedia experience, an action movie, explosives, graphics, all kinds of cool stuff. And the hero, Tom Haverford. And then they say Tom Haverford at the same time, and they start dancing, forgetting that they are at a public memorial. And Leslie's like, people grieve in different ways.
True.
So Yeah, so let's just keep going down this Tom path then.
Okay.
And so the next we cut to Leslie on the phone, as they're walking into the banner shop, and it's like,
Uh,
if you can't
you mean the Scientologist?
the Scientologist, yeah. If you can't train 200 white doves in the next 4 hours to spell out Lucy, will you marry me? Then you have no business calling yourself a pet store.
It's true.
And Tom is like, why can't people just be completely committed to the concept of outrageous pageantry? And so, yeah, so they go in, and Ian, who runs Scientology, says, what do you, is like, oh no, he's rolling his eyes. What do you want, Leslie? And she's like, I need a gigantic banner saying, congratulations, Lucy and Tom, and I need it by tomorrow. And he's like, I can't do that. And Leslie's like, listen, over the last 15 years, I spent nearly $100,000 at your banner store. And Tom's like, you see that Rolex on your Submariner on your wrist? That's because of Leslie. You'll get this banner done. And so, all right, they're gonna have a banner. Cool. The plans are coming along. Next stop is at Ted's jewelry store,
Mhm.
and
Which why he let them in? I have no. I mean, well, I guess it was.
he
It was
needed a ring for the
well,
shot.
no, I know, but it was Anne and Chris who made his life terrible.
Terrible. Yeah.
So okay, that makes a little
But I
bit more
mean,
sense. I
Ted
was like,
knows Leslie because he was consistently thrown in the lake,
that's
and
right,
Leslie was lobbying for more lake tossing. So, he knows who Leslie is, and yeah,
and
I
yet he
agree. Like,
still goes along with it.
yeah, I think he thought maybe this is like a good way to get some like promotion
Hmm.
for his store for this video that is going to be played for one person. I don't know. Ted's
Sure.
kind of dumb. And so he's holding the camera, and I was like, are we rolling? He's like, I think so. I don't know. Just be careful, please. And so they start, and Leslie's like, hello, would you like to see some rings? I don't have a far. And I was like, why do you have an accent? He's like, I came up with a backstory. She's French, married to a billionaire, has a twin sister, identical, and and he's like, I was like, you have one line. And so they start this whole thing where he's trying to buy a ring. And he's like, I'll take that one, the most expensive one. Looks right at the camera. And then John Ralphio comes in. He's like, not so fast, haver fraud. And I love
Get
Leslie's
'em,
commitment.
boys.
Leslie's commitment, zoot the Lord. And so John Ralphio sends his goons to attack Tom, and they freeze. And then a stunt double comes in, and stunt double like fights and beats up all of Tom's goons. And then John Ralphio's like, all right, it's my time. And he gets in. And all the while, Leslie's giving like camera direction for Ted. And he's like, I don't know what any of this means. And so then John Ralphio starts fighting the guy, and he gets thrown over into the jewelry case. And then Tom takes the ring, and he looks up at the camera. Lucy, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to marry me. And they cut, and Ted's like, you ruined my store. And he's like, it's the movie business, Ted. You knew the risks.
Hmm.
And so then they run off to the next location, whatever that is. We never find out what that next location is, as far as filming goes, because Tom and Leslie go to the airport to meet Lucy, and so Tom
So
is like,
they finished it all, and they've edited it, and they're ready to go.
yes, I don't know,
Whirlwind day.
I don't really know how they're going to play the video
Hmm.
for Lucy at the airport.
Yeah, I think no. I think because yeah, the banner and everything. There was a party later. I think they're going to play it at the party.
Yeah, well, I get like there would like why does Leslie have to go to the airport? Like, there's no reason for any of this. There's this. The great frustration is the lack of economy of writing in this plot line for me, because Leslie and Tom, it's really about their relationship and
Hmm.
working together. And Tom says, hey, I'm glad you could help. I guess what I'm trying to say is you're pretty cool. And Leslie like is overwhelmed by being cool. And she's like, I'm a cool dudette. It's pizza time. And then Tom's like,
She
you lost it.
She just turns into a Ninja Turtle for some reason.
And then Lucy shows up, and they wave across the airport, and Tom's like, this is all wrong, calling it off. And he says, he's like, is it because I said pizza time? And Tom's like, no, but that definitely didn't help. And so he like starts writing down. He's like, grab John Ralphio on these three things. Meet me at the Snake Hole Lounge in 30 minutes. And I was like, I have no idea, but you seem really confident, so I'm gonna go do that. And so they like this whole scene, like everything, the jewelry store, all the stuff, all the things that Tom was doing, like it does not matter all that other stuff now.
Mm-mm.
And that just kind of annoyed me. It's like I'd really like to see that whole video. Um so but
But
that's
I think
just
right, yeah. But I mean, it shows Tom's growth because as soon as he saw Lucy, he instantly realized "Ooh, that's what I wanted. But I know this person, like, and he's growing. Like this person doesn't want this thing. Like that's why I like her. And so he's like, no, this is all wrong.
right.
So I think he got wrapped in his own thing, and then as soon as he saw her, it was like
Yeah. I
Plan B.
agree. I agree with the assessment and where it all landed. Like Tom is like a growing person,
Yeah,
but it's just annoying.
because you didn't get to see it. Like
Well,
even
yeah,
as a post credit, like Lazy Scranton, like we
that
need to
would have
see
been
the whole
awesome.
video.
Yeah, if it was
Yeah.
on Peacock or something, like I would love to see this whole video. Like, where was the second location that they shot? Like, was that at the library and like they had to like blow up some books? I don't know. What did they do? So, if they do a Parks and Rec reboot, they can start with this video. Please tell us what happened. So they go to this. They meet Tom at the Snake Hole Lounge, and they got everything he asked for. And John Ralphio then unfurls a dozen flavored condoms, and Tom's like, "I didn't ask for that," and that's just me looking out for you. And he's like, "Girls get super horny when you propose. That's why I do it all the
Oh,
time." Oh, John Ralphio, you're terrible.
no.
And so Leslie's like, "Okay, what are we doing? There's hundreds of people waiting for us." And Tom's like, "No time to explain. Don't worry, I've got a plan." And Leslie's like, "All right, we'll leave. Good luck." And Tom's like, "But you want to stay and watch, don't you?" "Yes, of course." So they go and hide. And Leslie's like, to John Ralphio, "Don't follow me." And he's like, "But I'm gonna, I'm gonna," like a little child.
Like you wouldn't think I wouldn't.
Yeah. And so then Lucy meets Tom, is like, "What is all this?" And he's like, "Well, this is where we met. Our first date. I gave you a single daisy like this. And after that, we had late night pancakes at JJ's. And then I tried to do a magic trick with the deck of cards that I learned on a David Blaine special. And I failed, and you made fun of me ruthlessly. And I haven't done this trick in a while, but I'm ready to try it again." And so he like fans out the deck of cards. And he's like, "Pick a card," and does the whole thing. "No, over there a little bit." And she pulls the card out, and it says, "Will you marry me?" And she says yes. And they're like, "Oh, it's so wonderful." And Tom is happy. Lucy's happy. Leslie's happy. And John Ralphio is like, she says, "It's so sweet." And he says, "It really was." "So what's your story again?" "I mean, how married are you?" and, and Leslie's like, "Why are you like this?" And she's like, "Pills, baby." So, yeah. So then Tom later is like talking to Leslie. "Sorry about the audible. I just realized Lucy doesn't care about all that flashy stuff. That's not the way to her heart." And he's like, I'm surprised she's still even into me." And Leslie's like, "You were right. Absolutely the right course. It was perfect and beautiful. But there is still a very big celebration waiting for you and your fiance. I think Lucy," and Tom's like, "I think Lucy just wants to hang out the two of us." And so he leaves, and he's like, "See you later, Jennifer Lopez." And Leslie calls him pomegranate juice, and he's impressed by the punnery. It's wonderful. And so Leslie calls Ben, like, "Tom got engaged." He's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then we learn Ben's news later about what's going to happen there. So
hmm
let's pause there, and we'll come back around. And
But I do like her line right there when as soon as she finds out what happened, she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad we're leaving."
yeah. So I need to change the color of this real quick.
But you
S-
don't.
I do, because it bleeds into Ben's story. So
Well, I know, but we can just stop.
no.
Oh, okay,
All right, let's follow Ron's
let's do it.
now. Ron. So yeah, was Salvatore killed by a younger, stronger barber? We'll never know. But we next pick up at the memorial service, and Donna and Andy
For Salvatore,
are at the memorial service
right?
for a guy they don't know. They're there to support Ron,
Support. Yeah, yeah.
right? And Donna's like, were you guys close? Like, I've seen Salvatore the first Tuesday of the month for the past 4 decades. Same exact thing every time. I paid him $8. I sat in the same chair. Salvatore put the same cape over me. And then he'd always ask me about the same thing. Nothing. It was perfect. So were they close? Proximity.
But Ron's best friend is, a guy that, they never
still never talks to
They still never
sometimes.
talk to each other sometimes. So, I mean, this is on point.
Yeah.
This is on brand for Ron.
It is very Ron. And so he's like, I can't delay this forever. So he goes up to the open casket and
again, open casket.
Yeah, they love open caskets in Pawnee. They just want to make sure this person's really dead. They've been fooled before. So
never again.
I mean, the next episode, there's a fake funeral. So yeah, man, what a piece of work. So he goes up and he talks to the body of Salvatore. And he says this: the 3 most important people in a man's life are his barber, his butcher, and his lover. I have lost one of those. Here's a tenner, Sal. And he puts a $10 bill. And he's like, as you know, I don't believe in tipping, so I'll collect my change from your wife. So great. And then he goes up to Ron and to Andy and Donna. Is like, I was supposed to meet with him on Tuesday. Look how rackety my hair is. What am I supposed to be? Some kind of rock star? And Donna's just like, what?
But he is distraught. I mean, he is distraught. This isn't just like a flippant, like sarcastic comment. Like, he really is in a bad place.
Yeah, that's what he gets to in the next section. Like, Donna's like, buck up. Death is natural, like you said. Sal lived a good long life. And Ron's like, but everything, so much is changing, and I've never been a fan of change. Even except when it's not tipping. Like, he wants that change. And so she's like, Salvatore was a constant in my life. And then out of nowhere, a mysterious stranger at a bar says, in my experience, the only constant is change. And Ron's like, oh, beep. And it is Ron Dunn from Eagleton. And he's like, nice to see you, Ron. I couldn't help it over here. I'm sorry about your loss. Every time we lose a compadre, our collective lantern gets a little bit dimmer. And Andy's like, oh, hey, you look familiar. He's like, have we met before? And Ron Dunn's like, I'm sure our souls have collided in one lifetime or another. And Andy's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. He's like, are you in my Frisbee golf league? He's like, oh, yeah. We're the super spinners. And then he's like, I'm on the Frisbee champs. And he looks at the camera. I named us. And Ron Swanson is just like, stop speaking to this man. He's the worst human being on earth. And Dunn is like, death makes brothers of us all. And I've always found that when my soul aches with loss, it's best to turn to Eastern wisdom. And Ron holds up his shot glass like, this is from the Isle of Islay in Scotland. This is as Eastern as my wisdom gets. So Donna's then like, Swanson, this handsome spiritual cowboy may actually be right about something about turning to the east. I have an idea. And then then Andy looks at Dunn and is like, who cuts your hair? And nobody. When my hair feels it has completed its journey, it simply sheds itself off. And Swanson, I hate you so much. And I love you, my brother. I just love their dynamic.
So perfect.
Still, when they were at I still think about the blueberry wine,
the campfire.
I probably think about that like once a day. And when people are like distraught, I look at them and like, baby snow owl.
baby snow owl.
Yes.
When he doesn't have his mustache, it is alarming.
Yeah. Sam Elliott should always have a mustache. That is for sure.
It's like Tom Selleck without a mustache. It just doesn't work.
No, you're right. Tom Selleck without a mustache is like, are you literally on the run from somebody right now? Like, you are a different person. Yeah.
Or Bob from Bob's Burgers. It's weird.
Is there an episode where he shaves his mustache?
Oh yeah. There's a whole episode about his mustache. It's pretty great.
Oh, all right.
But yeah,
I've not kept up on Bob's Burgers.
It's okay. There's time.
I'll just ask Casey about it, and she can recap. Casey's basically your daughter is basically a podcast for Bob's Burgers.
she is. We should probably just do one.
Yeah, she would just sing all the songs and have a great old time.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So Don and Ron go to Donna's stylist, and turns out it's Typhoon.
Which his business is called Hair by Typhoon. Just hair.
uh, and so
I used to
Ron,
go a long time ago. I used to go to a place called Northwest Hairlines
what? Why?
because that was the barber that I went to go see. The name of his shop was Northwest Hairlines, like airlines.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was the name of it, and it was just like a yeah. I don't know. It's
Where
a
was this? Is this
uh,
in Edmonds?
no. Well, no, it was in Terrace. It was kind of up by Porta Subs before you got to I-5.
Uh-huh. I know
But
exactly where that is.
Azteca is a
Yeah.
tattoo parlor now. But yeah, Northwest Hairlines.
Wow.
It's like a real life Bob's Burgers pun store.
Oh my word. I I've never had a haircut that I liked. So I've never had any kind of like affinity to any one barber.
Mhm.
Um but I went to like the cheapest barber in that I could find because my hair now I just buzz it.
Right.
And I was like getting ready for like a wedding or something, and I was like, oh, I want to do like
A nice buzz.
I wanted to make sure they get it all. And I went to the barber that if you're going down Filbert,
Mhm.
I
Oh
can't remember.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like looks like it's
It's
basically
a condemned building.
yeah, but they cut hair in there.
Right,
And
right. Like the windows are like permanently fogged up.
yeah, it's crazy. I went in and like it had all the vibe of the barbershop that my family went to when we lived in California. There was just an old TV playing and old people in there, and but there was only one barber. And she, yes, women can be barbers too, uh, had no cares about anything. And so I was like, I just need a two, like all over. And she's like, okay. And so she does the whole thing. And it's like a $5 haircut. Is that's what was so attractive to me. And I leave and like I don't, like it's a buzz cut. How hard can it be? I leave and I can feel the wind as soon as I go outside all over my head. Because she had missed so much of my head.
What did you expect for $5?
Mm, a haircut. I've been doing it for free. I did a better job than her. And I was like, do I go back in and say it's awfully drafty everywhere? Or do I just go home and cut my hair like a grown man? And so I
Just
went for
accept.
the latter. Like another $5 isn't going to fix
I,
the problem.
I would like to return this haircut, please.
Yeah. Can I get my hair glued back on? I'll take care of it later.
Is there like a warranty for this?
It was thoroughly disappointing because I was like, if I could find a $5 barber, that'd be great.
Man, you know what I miss? $5 footlongs from Subway.
You missed that, huh?
Well, it's $5. It's like, $5 doesn't get you much anymore. So I
No,
like a
that's true.
haircut, a footlong sub. I don't know. Anyway.
You could have a whole day for $20.
Right?
Back when we were kids. Go get a 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew for $1 at Marketplace.
Right?
And then just get diabetes for free.
Now you
Just throw
can
'em in.
get a gallon of gas and call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, the days.
We're old.
Yeah. So Typhoon, Hair by Typhoon.
Yes.
Typhoon is protesting because like he's an artist and the human head is, and Donna's like, is his canvas. Just listen, you're going to cut this man's hair. You're going to charge him $8. It'll take you 4 minutes. So just shut up and make him look like this, and holds up a picture of Ron that looks exactly like Ron looks right now.
Like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. And so Typhoon's like, fine. And so Ron is trying to like uncharacteristically be interested in somebody else.
As Typhoon puts on a pink leopard
Yeah.
like hair bib cape.
Yeah. And Ron is like, so what do you like to do for fun? And Typhoon is just like, I'm writing an electronic opera about Brittany Murphy, and I do the chandelier design for my friend's drag puppet show. And Ron's like, no further questions.
Yeah. That's all you need to
He's
know.
like, all I want to do is dance, except lately all the good warehouse raves are filled with Euro trash. And Ron's like, Euro trash. I like that. It is indeed a garbage continent. And he's like, yes. Oh, the last time it was the worst in Berlin in last May. Everyone was on their stupid bikes. Ew. And Ron's like, please talk more about how you hate Europe and bicycles. So, and Donna is like, it cuts to Donna and she's just smiling and like, yeah, this'll work.
Yes, I am see, maybe you just need the right like barber matchmaker.
I guess. But I mean, I'm not paying anything to cut my own hair, so I'll probably lean into that. Now, one of the things that I'm gonna forward promote for next week.
Mhm.
Craig and Typhoon end up getting married.
Right.
Now, spoiler: if you have not seen that, you are taking way too long to finish this show. uh,
Right.
and the best man for Typhoon is Ron Swanson.
Mhm.
And I
So
just love
great.
that so much.
It's so great.
Yeah, it's just one of those little things that's just like this friendship right here was one episode old. And then, in a year or two, like Typhoon and Ron somehow became close enough that he actually asked him to be a part of his wedding. And that was nice.
Well, and now that you mention it too, what's really funny is like Typhoon and Ron couldn't be more opposite. And
Right.
yet Ron Dunn and Ron are complete opposites, and yet he hates him.
Yeah, but I
But
think
he
it's
likes
because,
Typhoon because
well,
Typhoon doesn't also like certain like he's very strongly opinionated about things that Ron also doesn't like.
right. He is like they hate the same people.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas Ron Dunn is like he's like a libertarian type person, right?
Mhm.
Go out and do your own thing, but love everybody.
Right. Super spiritual. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ron Swanson is like, go do your own thing and leave me alone. And I think that's what he's picking up from Typhoon as
Typhoon's vibe.
well.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
like, yeah, fine, whatever. Do whatever you want. Just let me do whatever I want.
Right.
And Ron's like, I like this. So yeah, it's a fun story. So the last plot line here, as before the whole story comes together, we have Ben and April looking for a new mayor, and they start with Bobby Newport. uh and Bobby's like, how's Leslie? Is she still what was that thing we were running for again?
City
Ci-
councilor.
right.
Yeah,
You say
say
so.
so.
And so Ben is like, we're trying to ignoring what you just said. We need an interim mayor for just 2 months, and given your family's name, how well liked you are, I thought you might be interested. He's like, what mayor? Oh, that might be fun, but I don't think I can do it. I'm going to go to space on a big trip. It's so fun. Everything sounds fun, right? And Jerry's there. He's like, it
Yes.
really is.
It's one of my favorite parts of the whole show right there.
And he's like, oh yeah, this guy gets it. He knows what's what. So Bobby then looks at Ben, like, have you ever been to space? You should check it out. And seriously, and Ben's like, oh really? And he's like, yeah, the rich guys will be cool with it. Just you need $600,000 for the deposit. And I was like, oh, I don't have that. And April's like, well, I've already been to space. I was the second person on the walk on the moon. Buzz Aldrin, nice to meet you. He's like, nice try. That's the guy from Toy Story.
I just love that it's $600,000, and that's just for the deposit. That means it's more.
Yeah. Man, I could not want to go to space more. All my stuff is here.
Yeah.
So
Oh
pass.
my goodness. Have you watched Only Murders in the Building?
I have not.
Okay. For those of you who haven't, Ant-Man is in it. And
Oh, really?
for those of you who have, in this last season, he's in it, and it's pretty great. He
I'll have
plays
to get
an
into that.
actor. And it's a whole stage thing. It's like Broadway based, but I don't want to give spoilers, but yeah, it's good. He's pretty great in it.
Well, I'll have to
Check it out.
add it to the list now that the writer strike's over, though. I mean, I'm running out of time of not producing material.
Yeah.
Just hope those actors hold out longer. Give me a chance to catch up. So next we cut to April and Ben and Jerry. And they're talking to Joan. And April's like, you should do it. You'd be an amazing mayor. Actually, you should be president of the universe. And Joan's like, I can't because sadly, I am only 27 years old. And Ben's like, really? So you were born in the 1990s?
Ben.
And then next one is Dr. Saperstein. And he's like, what a lovely offer. But got my handful with my practice, other businesses, my two terrible children. I don't think I have time to be mayor. And then Mona Lisa comes in and is like, hold up. I will do John Mayer again. And then she's like, Daddy, someone set a fire in your car because you took too long and I got bored. Money, please. And
but she doesn't
she's
ask
asking
her dad.
Ben.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, there's no money. And then she's like freaking out and getting madder and madder. And he's like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to destroy this office and knock something off the shelf. And Dr. Saperstein's like, Ben, give her money. It's easier. Next up is the douche. And Ben's like, I have to say, I'm skeptical that your interest is sincere. It's like, I can understand that. A morning shock jock, DJ, the mayor, but keep an open mind. I went to Northwestern. I've worked 2 political campaigns. And I spent all my time communicating with the public.
Hmm.
I was like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I could do some really great things for the city and some gross things for those juicy city hall interns. Goink. Nick Kroll is so fast to turn into a major sleaze. And so they're like, thanks for coming in. It's like, all right, well, let me know. And April's like, well, I think we have the answer. And she's like, okay, you know that I despise you and that I want you and all people on earth to be miserable. He's like, right. Sure. He's like, you should just be mayor. You're the best person for the job. You deserve it. Plus, this would erase Icetown. It's been torturing you since you were 18. If you became mayor, you could put it all behind you once and for all. And then she's like, being nice was terrible.
No, that was nice of her, though.
And then the douche comes in and is like, my oral office. It's like, what? I'm going to turn the mayoral office into my oral office. Boom. Thought of it a second ago, had to pop back in. And Ben's just like, had to?
Had to.
Had to.
And that I have had so many times where, like, even after this podcast, was like, oh, what I should have said was,
yeah.
And yet he has the audacity to actually go back and do it.
Right. Like, no, I have to go and tell them this joke.
You need to hear this terrible thing that I thought of.
It's important.
I love it so much.
Yeah. So the people of Pawnee, kind of terrible. So Ben is resigned to the fact that he needs to take on this job for 2 months. And so next we see them, he's about to sign in, and Jerry is so excited. He's like, I can't believe I'm about to notarize it. And so he's like, just look, sign here, and then we can get the notary fireworks beginning. And then Ben is about to sign. He's like, no, I don't want to. You know what? I spent so long trying to forget about Icetown, but it's a part of my life. It set me on this path. Let me to Pawnee, to my job, to Leslie. Who knows where I'd be without it? I like that Icetown happened, and I don't want to erase it. Then I was like, okay, so I wasn't listening. But who's going to be mayor then? And then Ben looks at the person who is just most in love with the city of Pawnee, and who just desperately wants to retire. And he's like, Garry Gergich, how would you like to be the next mayor of Pawnee, Indiana? And April just screams out, no. So this then leads to the phone call with Leslie calling Ben saying Tom got engaged. And then Ben says, more good news. I finally found someone to be mayor, Garry. And I was like, I'm so glad we're leaving. And she's like, wait, you know what? I just had an amazing idea. And she goes to the Scientology, and Ian's like, just under the wire. And it's like, okay, thank you so much. It's great. Now throw it out. I need a new one. And I need it in 20 minutes. And he's protests like, if you didn't want to be on call 24/7 for emergency, then you should not have gone into the high stakes world of banner making.
I don't think they're on call 24/7.
They are not. I have worked with banner companies. They are very much on call during normal business hours. So, yeah. So Ron and everybody all pulls up to the park somewhere. And they're like, what is this? And Ben's like, you'll see. And Jerry gets out. And he's so excited, having just signed all and notarized all this stuff. He's like, I gotta say, that was a heck of a lot of fun. And then a choir starts singing Bone Thugs in Harmony, All My Life. And Jerry's like, what's happening?
Was that Boys to Men?
I thought it was Bone Thugs in Harmony.
No, it's Crossroads.
Oh, yeah.
I put that.
Oh, yeah.
I incepted you with that.
Thank you. And so Jerry is like shocked, and let's like, happy inauguration day, buddy. And he gets into a throne that is then carried by strong men and
in gladiator, full gladiator.
As this choir is singing and everybody's there, there's a hot air balloon.
Fireworks are going off. It's like my kids were watching this with me. They hadn't seen this episode before. They watched a ton of Parks and Rec. And they just, all two of them, turn to me and just go, he finally gets the recognition he deserves.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy. Like, finally, and that was Leslie's thing. He's like, if we're going to do this, let's do it.
Yeah. Tom already paid for it.
Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate Jerry.
Yeah. And so
nobody planned his thing, but it's still amazing.
It's great. And Leslie gets a speech. We're about to begin a new chapter in Pawnee's history. Ladies and gentlemen, the new mayor of the great city of Pawnee, Indiana, Garry Gergich. And he starts to speak in the the hot air balloon basket. He's like, I just want to say. Then he just goes, his speech is over. He's like, I'm fine. It is just so wonderful. And this is probably my favorite part of the whole episode.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
just how Garry is just along for the ride.
Yep.
And then how it plays out into next week's episode as Mayor Gergich is the most powerful man in town.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So I loved the close of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. That's two funerals, or what's I'm going to title it "Talk More About How You Hate Europe and Bicycles." So that's what I'm going with. Yeah. Anything else that stands out that we need to note, Jeremy?
No.
All right.
No. I mean, the trivia is pretty
Trivial.
lame. It's very trivial.
You know what's interesting about the word trivia?
Can you use it in a sentence? I just did.
I just did. No, the word means like three ways. So,
Try.
yeah, try. Via is way
or life.
And so it's like it's a multiple choice. It's three options, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have these options, and so when people say like it's trivial, it's like, well, no. Sometimes you mean it's just not important,
Right?
So anyway, nerd.
So that means like most trivia things should be multiple choice.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
So, anyway,
to marinate on that for a while.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So next week is a double episode.
Yeah, it's longer, but it's presented as one episode.
Correct. And if there's one thing we're good at, it's making things shorter.
Yes, this 22-minute episode we ended up talking about for 52 so far. Who knows when we're actually going to end? So we'll see. I was looking for the rating on this episode.
8.4.
8.4. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. There's a reference to Toy Story. The Parks and Recreation main title theme song was written by Gabby Moreno and Vincent Jones. Same.
Yeah, all the same stuff.
This originally aired on my birthday.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So now this episode, Michael Jordan, Paris Hilton, and myself, we all share the same birthday. So that's fun. And then here's an ad for Loki season 2. Cool. All things, I think we wrapped it up pretty well. So,
all right. So,
all right. Well, we'll be back next week as long as we're all healthy, right?
For one last ride. I know. Yeah, it's the beginning of the end, man. So, for the show, and just for the show.
All right, good. That was ominous.
Oh, and once again, plugging for the end, our show, and then hopefully after next week, the week after, or the episode after.
Well, what? We need a little break because I'm going out of the country. I'm going to take a hot air balloon to go far away.
You can listen to some Boys to Men and float away.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that gives you plenty of time to come up with your list of favorite episodes, favorite moments, favorite jokes that we said, favorite, anything from ever in the podcast and from Parks and Rec, and write in and let us know what you think. And if it's like 3 years from now and maybe we'll still talk about it when we're, doing The Good Place. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah. You know what? If there's an email that comes in 3 years and we're talking about a totally different show, I'm not going to not read that email.
Yeah, exactly. So don't think the time has ran out.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
You are now a time traveler. This is a time capsule hosted by Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast host, Spotify. So it's there for you. Email parksandconversation@gmail.com because you can guarantee I'm not going to start another email address. I mean, that's just going to be what it's going to be. I didn't think it all through. So,
it's a lot of work moving email addresses.
I mean, how much does an email address cost? $20?
Well, at least one haircut.
Yeah. How much is a Star War? So email us parksandconversation@gmail.com. Please be sure to leave reviews at speedysigns.com and and then we will be back in the near future to talk about the series finale of Parks and Conversation. So, Jeremy, I bid you adieu. Zut alors.
Bye.